A necessary ingredient to achieving your goals is focus. This entails having genuine indifference to others' personal lives, gossips, and most importantly, others' opinion of you. The state of mind of calm and reasonable nonchalance is far more difficult to achieve than most people understand. As social animals, we have a natural desire to belong to a group and gain its members' approval. This is a survival instinct from our evolutionary past. After all, it is much easier to survive when you are accepted by others and part of a group than when you are detested by others and alone. Consequently, when you are accepted by others, your brain releases feel-good hormones and neurotransmitters, including oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine, all of which boosts your mood, sense of self, and confidence. On the other hand, when you perceive yourself to be rejected by peers, your mind falsely believes you are in danger of being harmed by nature's elements, and in an act of self-preservation, you become withdrawn, anxious, and generally afraid of moving forward in life. Given the severe emotional repercussions caused by others' perception of ourselves, it is easy to understand why we consistently put great value on the words and opinions others have of us. Lao Tzu, the ancient Chinese philosopher, said, "Care about others' approval, and you will always be their prisoner." Lao Tzu observed that people behave according to a hierarchy of values, and when we put others' opinion as the most important value, we no longer care about our own values. For example, you enjoy the game of chess and value the intelligence required to master it. However, chess is not seen as a cool hobby to have. Consequently, when others ask you what interests you, you are hesitant to admit the truth. In this example, your value of people's opinion trumps over your own value for intelligence. Today you may lie and say you do not play chess, but with time you may abandon chess altogether in order to be a part of the crowd. In that sense, slowly but surely, your behavior will become like that of everyone else, driven by the desire to fit in and gain approval. Eventually, you become what Lao Tzu calls their prisoner, as you condemn yourself to an unfulfilled and monotonous existence, being afraid of alienation and differentiation. If the fear of others having a bad perception of you can lead to an unfulfilled life, how then can you escape the fear of judgment? To answer this simply, you conquer the fear of judgment by putting yourself first. Arthur Schopenhauer, an 18th century German philosopher, did a great job on elaborating this point by expanding on Aristotle's analysis. Schopenhauer, along with Aristotle, believed what a person has in life can be broken down into three classes. The first class is who you really are. That includes your genuine hobbies, intelligence, interests, temperament, and physical attributes. The second class is your material possessions, including clothing, housing, food, and wealth. The third class is your standing in others' perception. In other words, do people like you or respect you? Schopenhauer believed only the first two classes are of any significance to a person's well-being. The first class is important, for it is who you are. Therefore, putting time and effort into developing your strengths and fixing your weaknesses will grant you a sense of fulfillment and put you on the path towards self-actualization. The second class, consisting of material possessions, is not as important. However, having a comfortable home to live in and being able to afford healthy food are vital to living well. So finding ways to improve your materialistic lot in the game of life will also grant you a sense of genuine satisfaction. Schopenhauer viewed the third class, which is what people may think of you, as the most trivial and useless class. To be more specific, Schopenhauer believes caring for others' opinion is a weakness of human nature, and it must be conquered. If it is not conquered, then sharing the same sentiment as the Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu, Schopenhauer says, "A man is a slave of what other people are pleased to think, and how little it requires to disconcert or soothe the mind that is greedy of praise." To sum up Schopenhauer's perspective on life, in order to live well, you need to put the focus on yourself. This includes living up to your own values and pursuing your own interests. To use a hypothetical example, let's say you want to ask a girl out on a date. Obviously, there's something you value about her. If you place others' opinion above your own value, you may be too afraid to approach her. You are afraid of embarrassment and shame from what the lady may think of you. However, if you lived according to Schopenhauer's analysis of a good life, you would boldly ask her out because you genuinely think she is attractive. And if she rejects you, you will not care and quickly move on, without a shred of emotional pain. A good first step towards putting yourself first will be to spend more time in solitude and pay attention to your thoughts and desires. This will allow you to become more acquainted with your natural impulses, which will allow you to better know who you are. You may then take this knowledge and come up with a plan to put yourself on a path of self-development and self-actualization. Of course, to reach this state of mind requires time and practice, as with anything worthwhile in life. But what is the alternative? To give in to fear of others' judgment of us, and to live a life avoiding embarrassments? Well, Aristotle has something to say about that. There is only one way to avoid criticism. Do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing.